I'm Gary Martin, one of the PGA pros from Huddersfield Golf Club, and you're joining me and Toheed tonight to look at awkward lies.
Absolutely, let's try and try it now.
So, we've got a new catchphrase. James Robinson's going to be watching. So, what we're going to do, the format we're going to play is Toheed's going to play from the awkward lie, 2 balls, 2 white balls, using his technique. He's uncoached, so we've never done this before.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to coach him, and we're going to do 2 balls with a yellow ball using my technique. So we've got 4 balls set, alright, all in equally poor lies. Alright, so they're sat down in rough. We have got a bit of sun, but it's not too bad from this angle. So he's going to play 2 shots with his technique, and then I'm going to give him a little bit of coaching.
Just, yeah, okay.
You want to play another one with your technique then? I'm going to give you a little bit of coaching. That one, he's just gone over the other side of the green there.
Right, okay.
Let's do a little bit of coaching.
Again, to be honest, this could have been a wonderful shot had it been just a couple of feet further.
Yeah. So just set up to the balls for me, please.
Okay.
I'll just shuffle away a little bit. Alright, so the flag, that's where we're aiming, in that direction, okay?
Okay.
Now what we've got to do is think about the length of the swing here to get control for distance. So you've had 2 shots there, one's short, one's long.
Yes.
Alright, so what we need to do is have a consistent backswing and a consistent follow through.
Okay.
So what I would advise for this length of shot is trying to get the club head sort of level with your hip. So trying to get the club head level with your hip. And then through to your hip.
Okay.
So when you're around the green, controlling the length of stroke.
Okay.
Right? We don't want to have different length strokes all the time.
Okay.
Right? So aim as well is very important. So come and stand behind it. Come and stand here, Toheed. That's it. And walk into it from behind.
Yeah.
So draw a line from the ball to the flag.
Yeah.
Alright, so white, if you can imagine like a white line from the flag to the ball, and then get your club pointing at that line.
I was thinking if I drop it here, because it's a terrain that way, downward, so if I drop it there, it'll roll there, no?
There's not that much slope. In fact, the green's sloping the other way. The green's higher at this side.
Right.
And it slopes this way, so it's actually going to roll the opposite way.
Is it?
Yeah.
I can, well, I don't know well, okay, let's try.
I think if you aim for the flag, it's going to bear to the left when it lands.
Okay.
So aim a little bit further to the right. That's it there. And then control the length of your backstroke. So hip to hip.
I think you're a lucky man.
You want to play one more? So there was more control there in the technique. You know, both of them shots were on the green. We're just going to have a look at them.
Yeah, one is on the fringe and the other one, well, nearly.
Yeah. So we've got a yellow one there, a yellow one over there on the fringe.
The prime example is when I played my first shot, it was quite short. It stayed on this side of the green, and second time I swung a little harder and went on the other side of the green. But when I followed your instructions, both ball landed very close to green on the edge of the fringe. I think that's a prime example of controlling the distance and the swing.
Exactly, and you know, how much could that have resulted in, you know, the score being different? Because
I think it would make huge difference.
one of the balls was lost with a white ball, you know, from going through the back of the green, and you know, the other ball it would have been chipping, whereas I think you could have putted both the yellow ones.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for today, you know, to try and sort of save these, you know, these silly shots. So please remember, guys, this is Toheed's first ever time on these awkward lies. So we found a bold one now. This one absolutely puts loads of fear in me. I don't like this shot at all. I've not advised Toheed on what club to use. I'm not giving any advice. He might actually decide to use the advice we gave him in the last shot with length of swing. But as far as what club to use and the approach, You know, we've not given him any advice. We're going to let him, you know, play his natural what he would do. And that's what I see a lot of golfers do from that kind of lie, because there's just no grass there. It's an absolute bold lie. It puts fear in you. That was actually a very good connection from Toheed. Well done, that would have been a great shot in a round of golf. Now, for me, Toheed's got a high lofted club here, which is a low percentage shot, you know, because there's no grass underneath the ball. So Toheed's got an 8 iron and he's got a sand wedge with him today. Alright, so what I'm going to suggest on this lie, Toheed, and for you newer golfers, if you get on a bold lie like this, where there's no grass underneath the ball, it absolutely puts a hell of a lot of fear into you, because you're scared, you know, straight away making bad contact. The way I would play this shot is I would play the ball off my back foot.
Right.
Alright, I'd get my weight onto my front foot.
Right.
So what that's going to do, it's going to make the angle of attack a little bit steeper,
right,
so we don't contact the ground before the ball.
Okay.
And we're going to use the club a bit like a putter.
Right.
So we're not using any wrist, we're just using shoulders and keeping this triangle in our arms. So if you look at this, guys, watch, we've got the weight on the front foot here, the ball off the back foot, and we're just going to use the putter like the 8 iron like a putting stroke.
What should be the length of the stroke?
The length of the stroke, I think you've got to get the ball to land at least halfway. So if you've got to get the feeling that when you stroke the club back and through, the ball's going to land about halfway, and then it should bounce and roll up onto the green.
Okay, that's the set. That's what I'm using.
You can't, you've got to use the 8.
Why?
Because with a one lever system, if you're just using your shoulders, you won't be able to get the distance with a sand wedge.
That's what I used before.
But this is the purpose of the lesson. It's to teach you to change, you know, a club on this line.
Okay.
So use it as a putt stroke, back foot, weight forward Toheed, and then stroke back and through. Try to get a feeling that you're going to land the ball halfway. Have a look at the flag and then get a feeling of a stroke you're going to need to land that ball halfway. Well done. So great contact, great ball flight, but unfortunately because it was Toheed's first ever time trying it, he just sort of carried it a little bit too far, but he made lovely contact off the surface, how I would have expected.
Right, once again.
Yeah, so get a feeling that you're going to land that a little bit shorter. Well done. Now this one's good. See that, guys? Just up on the green. Wrong, but this is just my advice. If you're getting a really bold lie and you've not got anything to go over, then you've got to try to use a stroke that's a bit more reliable. You know, so
right.
you don't want to hit the surface because there's no grass there.
Right. Okay.
You know, so it's possibly going to bounce off the surface. You know, the leading edge is going to dig into the sort of mud or the ground. So the technique I was showing you, it's one that's a bit more like a putting stroke, and you're hitting the ball before the surface.
Right.
So the quality of strike's guaranteed to be better.
Okay.
But that's something we're going to probably practice a little bit more, guys. Is that bold lie, and it might not be as bold as that. That were a really bad or a good example, should I say? Very bold, weren't it? But
yes.
It might just be one of them lies that you just don't fancy getting a lob wedge or a sand wedge at. So we found him in awkward lights on a really severe slope. I'm going to show you this. It's by the green, so it's not a long shot, but it's on a really severe downhill slope.
It's the very reason I was going up and down to think how common sense should prevail.
Not bad. He's getting control of his backstroke better now. Oh! How many shots? Is that a penalty?
It's a 5.
Ooh!
And
what? Not bad attempts then. Not bad attempts at all. The way I would play this shot, guys, is I would try to get my shoulders recreating the lie of the land. So I would have a lot more weight on this leg And if we get the shoulders recreating the lie of the land, that means the club then is going to be able to move up and down the lie of the land, you know, whereas, and obviously you're new to Toheed, so Toheed had his weight on this foot, so his club would have wanted to have gone this way, because it's the way his shoulders were positioned, like that. So what we've got to try to do is more weight on this front leg. You may need to widen your stance to do this, guys, so you don't fall over. Ball position just behind centre, so recreating, you know, normal sort of circumstance of a shot ball position wise, but just making sure your shoulders are level with the line of land. And from there, I'm not going to play the shot because we need the two balls here, but trying to get the club moving down the lie of the land, so brushing the surface. Right. So just widen your stance out a lot more so that you can try to really get the shoulders matching the lie of the land. That's better. And try to sweep the club down the surface.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent, well done.
That's better.
Wow. Is this guy a beginner?
Don't you stop. Did you say more weight on this one?
Oh, wait, recreate the lie of the land. That's good. His shoulders are looking like they're matching the surface now.
Okay. Little short, but still.
Yeah, a little shot. Got an unfortunate bounce, but they're still a lot closer than the white balls. And do you know why? Because you got a better angle of attack. You know,
right,
you recreate a normal angle of attack that you would get on a flat lie.
Okay.
So, you know, that's another little shot saver there for you guys. Yeah. I think we're going to finish on that one, Toheed.
Okay.
Let's have a walk and a talk.
Right.
You know, we were just saying there as well, we haven't seen much of this on YouTube, so
no.
You know, we will do another episode on awkward lies, because we've just touched the surface there with a few sort of lies that you might get around the green.
Yes.
And you know, pop in the comments, guys, if there's anything you've learned tonight that you're going to put into your game. You know, let us know if there's anything there you've learned. And you know what, maybe give us some ideas. Let's put Toheed under the test.
Please.
What awkward lies have you got for him, guys?
Yes.
We'll put him under the test.
And obviously I love to execute that if I can.
And you know what? He loves the hard shots,
yes.
don't you?
Because that's the way forward.
Yeah.
If you do something, do it with full stride. Otherwise, don't do it.
I've just said to him there, we were looking for an awkward lie, weren't we?
Yes.
And I said, I'm not sure about this one, Toheed. It's a hard shot. It's downhill. The ball's rolling away from you. And he's like, no, we're doing it. We're doing that shot. So having a bit of a laugh here. But yeah, get in the comments, guys. Let us know what awkward lies we can get Toheed.
Yeah.
And we'll put him under. So guys, if you're enjoying the content, you know, keep watching. Pass on to your colleagues, anybody that might, you know, benefit from this.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Take care.